At 26 years old, Ethan believed he had plenty of time. Retirement? That was decades away. Investing? He'd start after earning a little more. Saving? Once life became less expensive. Every financial goal belonged to a future version of himself. The present version simply had too many other priorities. Rent, travel, new furniture, weekend trips, a newer phone. None of them felt irresponsible. Each expense made sense on its own. Besides, he wasn't ignoring his future. He was simply postponing it. 1 year became three. Three became six. Nothing dramatic happened. Life simply continued. Then one afternoon, Ethan visited his grandfather. The old man was sitting beneath the same tree he'd planted nearly 40 years earlier. Its branches stretched across half the backyard. Children played beneath its shade. Birds nested in its canopy. Ethan smiled. "That tree is enormous." His grandfather laughed. "It wasn't when I planted it." They sat together for a while before Ethan asked, "What's the best financial decision you ever made?" The old man looked back at the tree. "I started before I understood everything." Ethan frowned. "I thought you'd say buying your house. I thought you'd say your business." His grandfather shook his head. "Those mattered, but they all depended on one habit: starting early." That sentence stayed with Ethan, because that's what this video is really about. Not money, not investing, time. Before we continue, let's clarify something. This isn't about becoming obsessed with investing. Life should still be lived. Experiences matter. Family matters. Generosity matters. Money is a tool, not the goal. The problem begins when we consistently underestimate how valuable time actually is. Behavioral economists describe something called present bias. Human beings naturally place greater value on rewards available today than larger rewards waiting in the future. Receiving $100 today often feels better than receiving $120 next month. Not because it's objectively better, because the present feels more real than the future. Modern life amplifies this bias. Everything arrives immediately: food, entertainment, shopping, transport, even attention. Our brains become increasingly accustomed to instant rewards. Long-term investing asks us to do something psychologically unnatural. Delay gratification, not for days, sometimes for decades. There's another idea economists talk about: opportunity cost. Every dollar spent today cannot simultaneously be invested for tomorrow. That doesn't mean spending is bad. It simply means every decision quietly trades one future for another. The difficult part is that compound growth is almost invisible at first. Imagine planting two identical trees, one today, one 10 years from now. For a long time, the difference appears surprisingly small. Then something changes. The earlier tree becomes dramatically larger, not because it grew faster, because it simply had more time. Money often behaves the same way. Compound growth isn't impressive because it's fast. It's impressive because it quietly keeps working while you're busy living your life. This applies far beyond investing. Skills compound, friendships compound, trust compounds, health compounds, knowledge compounds. Good habits compound. Bad habits do too. Time quietly multiplies almost everything we repeatedly do. Modern culture often celebrates dramatic transformations: the entrepreneur who became wealthy overnight, the athlete who suddenly became famous, the creator who exploded in popularity. But reality is usually quieter. Most successful lives are built through small actions repeated consistently for far longer than anyone notices. Months later, Ethan changed one simple habit. He stopped asking, "How much can I save this month?" Instead, he asked, "What can I begin that my future self will quietly thank me for?" Some months, it wasn't much. Other months, it was more. The amount mattered less than the consistency. Years later, he noticed something. The investments had grown, but something else had grown too: his patience, his confidence, his sense of control. Because every monthly contribution reminded him that he wasn't simply saving money. He was buying choices, buying flexibility, buying freedom. Perhaps that's the greatest misunderstanding about wealth. People think money creates freedom. Often, time creates wealth, and wealth simply preserves the freedom that time patiently built. Maybe that's why the best financial decision isn't choosing the perfect investment. It's giving almost any sensible investment more time. Because while markets rise and fall, time has remained the most powerful force in wealth creation for generations. So here's a question worth thinking about. What could you begin this month that your future self would quietly thank you for 10 years from now? I genuinely love to read your thoughts in the comments. And if you're interested in understanding the hidden psychology, economics, and systems that quietly shape money, relationships, work, and everyday decisions, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.